1, 2, 3.
I know why you came. Heard I had that fire.
What's good, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Peace of Mind, where we value our what? Our health, our body, and our time. And speaking of that, let me say, I am tired. I'm very much tired, y'all. I'm like a good tired right now in my life. I'm tired because I've been doing a lot, but I've been doing like really, really good, to be honest. I've been in the gym consistently for a couple of weeks, like 6-day splits. Sundays I rest, which I really don't even rest because I roller skate on Sundays, all for good reasons, which I will get into later in the podcast. But I hope that you're well. I hope that you're blessed. I hope that you're safe. I hope that you are doing and making decisions that are best for your health and showing love to others around the world as well. So, without a further ado, let's jump into today's topic, which is dun 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 dun, peace of mind. What is peace of mind? What does that mean? Chris, isn't that the name of your podcast? Oh, thanks for asking. It is. So, what is peace of mind? Everybody's definition and perspective and vision on what peace of mind is going to look different for them, right? So when I tell y'all what my definition of peace of mind is, don't be like, that's wrong, that's not what peace of mind is. Everybody gains, maintains, operates peace on their own level, circumstance, and situation. So that's the first thing that I want to say with that. What is peace of mind for me? Peace of mind is genuinely like that level of comfort, that level of peace, that level of calmness, relaxation, at rest, lack of anxiety, lack of stress, lack of frustration, not feeling those emotions, those feelings throughout your day-to-day life. Like you genuinely feel like if you were to close your eyes, breathe in, breathe out, you're at peace. You're on a beach, hearing the waves go back and forth, left and right. No one to bother you, no one to frustrate you, no one to take you outside of that element, that code, that mindset that you want to be in, that brings you joy and happiness and love and balance. I think balance is a big thing. So when I think about what a peace of mind looks like for Christopher Jeremiah Clements, it's that. It's those descriptors that I just named. And that really transitions and translates me to why did I title my podcast Peace of Mind? It's honestly because I didn't have any peace from 2022 to 2023, and I didn't even know that I didn't have peace. I didn't know that I lost my peace because it was my first time losing my peace, if I'm being 100% honest. I was going through a lot of challenges, frustrations, friendship, and/or relationship growth pains throughout that time period, and I just genuinely felt like every single day I was in this mental warp, frustration, challenge, battle, internal situation, and I did not know how to articulate that, communicate that. It was one of my first times going through that, so it was a lot, and I was like, this just has to stop. And it took me so long because I just kept battling and kept fighting it and kept communicating with these different friends or different relationship partners or these different people in order to try to gain my peace back, which in actuality, I was doing it the complete wrong way. And I see that now, but that's why I also think another way that I maintain my peace is having a mentor, somebody who's been through what I've been through, somebody who's been through similar experiences or exposures and kind of like help me to identify something so I don't have to go through something for so long, right? And that looks different for some people. Sorry. That looks different for some people. Some people that's God. Some people that's a spiritual fear, a religious fear. Some people that's their family. Some people that's their friends. Some people that's their romantic partner. Some people that's devotionals, journaling. Some people that is whoever it might be. Your auntie, your stepmom, your stepdad, a stranger where you just need to release. Sometimes it's just screaming out loud or doing activities to gain a small bit of your peace back. But I did not have peace, and I realized that I didn't. And then when I finally got to this point in my life where I told myself I would never lose my peace again or reach that level of frustration or lack thereof, I named my podcast Peace of Mind. It used to be named Free Game. I thought it was kind of like childish and like college boyish, which I was a college boy, or college guy. So it was free game. I was giving out free game, mentorship, talking to people who had the knowledge and the advice and stuff like that. I think the brand got misconstrued to some people who wasn't really particular in the black community or context. They was like, what's free game? Like, what does that mean? Like, what are you giving out? Like, they came up with a lot of different stuff. But overall, the biggest thing that I think I would say is I named my podcast Peace of Mind because I wanted to focus on those well-being tips, repositories, things to keep us a peace of mind, things that keep our mindset and our mentality healthy and happy and positive, and doing the tangible and intangible things to do that. For me, I go to therapy. I love therapy. This is my 4th therapist, and I'm not going to say I just be getting a therapist to get therapists, but I've been talking to them about different things that I grew up with, depending on their physical features and their credentials as well. So now I have a black male therapist, and it's my first time getting a black male therapist. I was really, really nervous, really scared, frustrated, because I feel like I was facing myself, for lack of better words, which can go deep within itself, which we will save for another podcast topic. Ding, 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 ding. But I forgot my point. All of these things can boil down to like how you obtain peace. It looks different per person. So you can ask for inspiration from whoever you're inspired by, but you have to find something that fits well within your moral compass, your internal values, and how you feel. We can communicate how we feel to other people, but one can only communicate so much when they're not feeling exactly how you're feeling. So that's that. I have a couple of different podcast topics and thoughts so I can stay on track, because I don't do that. The next thing that I put is, what do I do in order to obtain my peace? We kind of just touched on that. It looks different per person. I would say, like, talk to your friends, talk to your people, just ask questions, like, be curious, get lost, explore. I know it can be frustrating when you don't have it, and it can honestly be toxic or, like, nerve-wracking when you don't have it, but you have to keep persevering, keep going on. You can take breaks if you need. One of my alpha poems is like, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learn, and many of failures are turned about. He might have won had he stuck it out. I could keep going, but don't give up though the pace seems slow. You might succeed with another blow. Off the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. So that's basically saying, like, keep going. It can be difficult, it can be hard, it can be frustrating, but knowing that there can be gold, there can be positivity, there can be the rainbow on the end of the other side, and it can take some time to get there, but having patience and giving yourself grace to actually get there and find what peace looks like for you. What things do I have in place for me? So I now work out every single morning, Monday through Saturday at least, and I go to church Sunday mornings. Monday through Saturdays, I kind of changed how I view the gym. I look at that now as like my central headquarters, which I actually get to like work out and like tone up my body, but at the same time I'm responding back to texts, I'm looking at my emails, I'm genuinely getting prepared for the day and what that looks like, what I need to be doing, if I gotta drive somewhere, texting people like, hey, I might not be able to make it here, this might be tight. I just do everything for the day early in the morning, and a lot of people aren't early gym risers, which I love because the machines are empty, but also it allows me to like text people back without them responding, and just me ingesting into the day before the day actually starts. I think another thing that I really love now is I used to get up and value working at Deloitte or my job more than going to the gym and my own health, my own body first. Like, my priorities were not necessarily the best. So it's like I get up and I choose me really first. You know what I mean? And I think that's really helpful. That's really important. And some people are just not early morning gym risers, and that's okay. You could do it at night. You could do it in the afternoon, even whatever works best with your schedule. I work virtually hybrid, so I have the opportunity to do that, but I know everybody doesn't. So checking that bias there and privilege there as well. What else do? I podcast. Regardless if 5 people listen or 300 people listen, I love podcasting because you know when you say a thought internally versus out loud, how you get 2 different perspectives, or you're like, dang, that actually doesn't sound as intellectual, or it sounds even more intellectual than I thought it did. Me podcasting allows me to learn more about Chris, how he thinks, how he perceives certain things, like what he likes, what he doesn't like, how he evaluates things, even like me checking my own biases of like how I treated a situation. I'm like, wow, saying it out loud, I could have done a lot better there. Maybe I should apologize. Maybe I should reach out. Maybe I should figure out how to heal, or like what circumstances I can do from that area in general, right? So I love podcasts and I love communication. I want to be a mental health director. That doesn't even necessarily have to be, that doesn't mean I have to be a founder, but a director helping whoever the target audience is. And I have ideas and thoughts about it right now. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because it will literally take so long, but helping whoever I deem as the target audience at that time prioritize themselves and show up for themselves, show love to themselves, make sure that they're exemplifying and exhibiting best behaviors. That way they can either achieve, maintain, or operate their peace of mind. Once you have it, you have to keep it. That's why I'm in therapy. I feel positive. I feel fine. I feel more than fine, if I'm being 100% honest, by having those ongoing conversations. People look at therapists with a negative stigma or connotation, like you're broken or you're weak or whatever it might be, but it also, it should not be viewed like that, honestly, in my personal opinion. Therapy is something that you, for very customized reasons, you talk to different people that you might not want to talk to certain people about, or some people might not have expertise in the area or the credentials. We give advice to people and frame it in such ways that we know what we're talking about when we don't. Which is why even on this podcast, I say everything is in my opinion. Like, all of this is my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a licensed professional. I have not done the required amount of market research and hours in psychology and clinical studies to speak professionally to you all. This is something that's genuinely a passion project, something that I love, that I do even though I don't make that much money from it. And I really appreciate being able to share my opinion, perspective, and provide people with the little knowledge that I do have. And the last thing that I would be remiss to say is roller skating. Y'all know I love roller skating. If you follow any of my social media pages, it allows me to be myself, express myself, dance, talk to people, communicate with other people who have the same level of passion or an equitable level of passion as I do. And it's just so exhilarating to be able to let loose of all of my worries. I literally forget about everything in the world during those couple of hours. I don't check my phone. I don't do anything. And I'm really bad at being in the present moment. And even now, I just had another epiphany. I think roller skating is the only time where I'm not trying to plan for my future or do futuristic thinking or do that in the third. I'm genuinely skating, and I love it so much. I will never let go of skating. I highly prioritize roller skating because it positively impacts my mental health. It positively supports what I want to do. So I definitely recommend you finding a hobby or an event or something that can do something as equitable as how I feel about roller skating. Next thing, is it worth it? Yes. Y'all literally have heard the different reasons of why I said is it worth it. I think that what I really put that is because some people don't believe in mental health. I know a lot of cultures and ethnicities don't necessarily overly value mental health. So I think everybody has their own journey. I think that depending on how you're showing up in the world, how people perceive you in the world, the things that you're achieving in the world, that it's important to give things a try, being open-minded to understanding other people's perspective and point of view, just as I am. I talked to an atheist one time. I'm a Christian man, but I want to understand where they came from, why they are atheists, why they got these experiences and these exposures. I will never shut nobody down of something that they truly believe in their heart, because we all have our own journey. We all started from a different focal point, a different origin. So I love to hear other people's story. That's how I get smarter. That's how I learn. That's how I grow. Just being open-minded enough to hear somebody else's point of view. So I think it's worth it. I think everybody should think it's worth it. I know everybody might not think it's worth it. That's also 1,000,000% okay. But I hope that if you are encouraged to have conversations, that you reach out. I'm an open book. My phone is open. 678-756-3094 is my number. You can reach out. You can text me. You can hit me up on Instagram _Chris Clements. My podcast page is Your Peace of Mind _ or the underscore might be in front. I can't remember because the TikTok is the opposite, because they wouldn't let me do both, which is unfortunate. But there's that. I encourage you to think about what peace of mind looks like for you in your life and how you can achieve that, or what you want to achieve, and prioritize that. People typically say, I would do that, but I have to work. You're valuing work over it, and maybe you should have those communications and those conversations with those necessary leaders of how you can maintain a better balance, right? And I'm not saying it would be perfect. Mine is not perfect, but I'm saying like you have to make it worth it. So that's what I would say. One of my very close friends, who I still love so much because they taught me so much, they said, I don't think I want anything more than I want my peace of mind. And I will always remember that statement because we were so close and we were going through an argument and frustration. And I was like, do you even want to be like as close as we are? And then they did not say no, but they said that they don't think they want anything more than their peace of mind. And I thought it was just interesting how they answered it because at that time, both of our mental healths were affected, but they thought that their mental health was just being affected and they didn't really know how to get out of the situation. And I took it personal at first, but like looking back, it's like, I totally agree, 1,000,000%. Not for family, friends, wife, husband, colleague, associate, leader, boss, manager. Like if your peace of mind is impacted, people don't understand the brain is up here. The brain operates how our mentality works based off of the things that we are exposed to in the present now. Everything's the present now, and then it becomes the past that we've created or the future. But everything that we've been exposed to, everything that we've experienced. So it's like if your mental health is being affected and it's affecting how you do these other different areas and components in your body, I would just ask you to ask yourself, is it worth sacrificing who you are as a person? Is it worth sacrificing like what you want, what you need, what your purpose is, your legacy is? So that's like what I would say about that. Next, how do you know when you don't have peace? I didn't know for a very long time. I think that eventually I had conversations with one of my other friends and colleagues, and I was just walking them through what I was going through and being vulnerable and being transparent. And then we both came up with it at the same time. We was like, what do people want? And then we said one of the things that people want is a peace of mind, being able to like truly be at rest, be at peace. Or equivalently, not have anxiety, not have a constant level of stress, frustration, anger, lividness, being rude, which is another synonym for being mad and angry. But just having those components, not constantly exhibiting those, and nobody's going to live a perfect life. But I think that the important thing is more so than good, whoever it is, you feel like you're at peace and you don't want to give up your peace for anybody in the world. Nobody. Because the level of mental exhaustion and loops that you would go through to achieve that would be, I don't even know how to pronounce the word. Is it strenuous? Would be tiresome. Would be extremely tiresome. It would not be worth it. And I think that comes to the thing with like, how do you know when to like stay in the fight, take a break, when to bail, when to give up on the relationship, give up on the friendship? I think you have to use your discernment with everything that you know in the world. Balance of discernment is what I say. It used to be in my Instagram bio. Balancing everything in the world. You know personally everything that you have to go through in the world. You know what you do or are not doing. You know everything. You know how you're trying and how you're showing up with all of these different areas and components and people who are leaning on you and dependent on you. So I think with that being noticed and you being the only person that you live with and you carry yourself with, and discerning like how much worth that person brings or how much happiness or joy or whatever category you want to put there, is it worth that person being in your life in that season of life? And that's such a difficult and hard conversation to have, but a very necessary one to communicate and have those mature conversations with as time goes on. I'm trying to see if it's going to mess up something, but it's not messing up, which is good. So it's like balancing discernment, talking to different people. I'm always going to ring a therapist. I think that that's important. I think journal if you don't have the funds or the proper resources to be able to obtain that in the moment. Find somebody that's vulnerable and trust, but also take their opinions with a grain of salt, especially if they're not official or have credentials, because they could lead you unintentionally in an environment that you might not necessarily be aware of. So I think it's just very important and very key to be aware of everything that you are experiencing in your life. Okay, the biggest thing now is the call to action. Boop, 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 boop. My question to you is, what steps, activities, and or events do you do in your life in order to achieve or maintain a peace of mind? For me, it's definitely going to the gym early in the mornings. I look at that as my central headquarters, and roller skating as well. When I'm roller skating, I feel like I'm at an optimal or maximum peace of mind. That is probably one of the only times where I'm like living in the moment. I put my phone down. Hopefully there's no emergencies happens, and I'm really just expressing myself, my ability. I don't think about my frustrations or my challenges, even if something huge is coming up like right afterwards, because it allows me to restore, reset, and keep going. So I would love to know like what that is for you in your life. How did you achieve that? How do you maintain that? And what recommendations do you have or might have for other people who are looking to find something that brings them an internal peace or a level of peace? So let me know that. And then the takeaway for this video is to find your peace of mind, to find what makes you happy, to find what makes you joyful, to be able to retrospectively look back on your life sometimes and think, wow, I did something for me. I did something that made me happy, that made me feel good. And it's not selfish and it's not malicious, but you have to show up for yourself, if not the same amount, more than you show up for others sometimes. And it can be difficult because some people don't know how to do that, when to do that, why to do that, especially like when you love others. But for you to be able to give to others, you have to be able to give to yourself. That way you have the energy too. So I definitely would encourage you to figure out what it means to have a peace of mind, and that's going to look different for any and every single person who watches this video. The favorite consultant word is it depends, but that's what I encourage you to do today. I hope you enjoy listening to and or watching this episode, and without a further ado, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Peace of Mind, where we value our health, our body, and our time. Chris out.
I know why you came. Heard I had that fire. Well, welcome to the flame.